everyone, and welcome to Grumpy and Shadow Show.
I'm Grumpy.
And I'm Shadow.
And today we're talking about unfinished plot devices on this season of The Flash. So let's get to it.
Alright, first off, we've got, if you remember, early on, probably about 3 episodes ago, when Caitlin turned into Killer Frost. Actually, I believe it was 2 episodes ago. And they had her cornered in that warehouse after she had kidnapped Joe's girlfriend.
Right.
They went in and they took a sample of her blood. They said to help cure her. But no one has done anything with that since. They showed the vial once, but that was it. I understand that HR and Tracy Brand are working on the Speed Bazooka, which I assume is the Speed Cannon. What the hell is everybody else doing that they've got this blood and they're not working on it? No one said, hey, we're working. When she showed up this season, or this episode, and Julian said, I'll do whatever I can to cure you. He never said, I'm working on the blood sample that I have, I'm doing this. He never, nobody knows where that blood sample went.
They took the blood, and then we didn't hear nothing else.
Right, and I don't understand why. I mean, if that was so important to show us that they took the blood from her and to show us the vial, why haven't they worked on it?
I mean, what are they doing to it? Where are they bringing it? And how are they going to cure her?
Exactly, and the problem I have is that nobody has mentioned it. No one has even hinted towards that. So it makes me think that, they're really not trying to save Caitlin. That, that's just an off thing, when they're bored.
Unless they're saving it for a couple seasons
but why would
down the road, I don't know.
See, I can't see that, because Cisco was getting to Caitlin, and her eyes were turning from blue to brown, and they were reaching her in her core. So why would they hold that plot device for another season?
I don't know.
That's one of those things. This is one of those things that don't make any sense.
You think they'd take the blood, they'd run to the laboratory and see what's going on with it?
Or at least Julian would lock himself in the lab and say, I ain't coming out till I've got this solved.
Yeah, because I think Julian's really full of her,
but nothing. We get nothing from any of them. Which brings me to the next point. They're collecting shit to experiment on. I mean, stuff to experiment on, and yet they're not experimenting on it. Barry cut off the sword piece of Savitar's armor when he was getting attacked in the alley. Remember, he phased through it and cut it off.
Yeah.
And he brought it back to the lab and said, maybe this can help us figure something out. No one's touched it. No one's touched this since. No one said, hey, we can't crack it, or we figured it out, or we don't know what it is. No one has done anything with it.
You think Cisco could at least vibe it or something,
Well, he tried. I believe he tried to vibe it, but all he could see was, whiteness, because Savitar was popping in and out of the Speed Force. But that's as far as they went. They didn't try to break down the metal. They didn't try to figure out how it worked or anything like that. And I can't figure out, with brains there, like Julian and Cisco, and now this new Tracy Brand, who's a genius, why they couldn't get together and try and figure out what this armor's made out of. I mean, don't you think she would need to do that in order to figure out how to trap him?
If they know what material this is made out of, you're right, they would know how to trap this guy.
But instead they work on a pentagram around his outfit that they don't even know what his...
I think they're concentrating on how the mind works, because if Barry loses his mind...
Yeah, but they trap him in the Speed Force, and she says, well, I figured out that the power of his suit does this, and this, but they never figured that out. I mean, they never examined the piece that they had there right in front of them for evidence to prove that this is what's going on.
And maybe that little piece might show them how to take that power down a notch,
Right, exactly, and nobody knows. Only Barry knows right now that the suit is sentient, which means it basically has a mind of its own. When Evil Barry, or Savitar Barry, was attacking our Barry, and our Barry was winning,
Barry.
Savitar Barry called his suit, his empty suit, and it came over and beat the crap out of our Barry. with nobody in it. Okay, so no, they need to examine all the armor pieces that they have, so they can figure out A, that it does have a mind of its own, and B, how it works.
They need to know how to destroy the suit.
Yeah, before they can trap it, because if they trap them and they don't know how the suit works, they can just walk right out.
I think if they destroy the suit, they may disassemble Savitar.
Yeah, and these are tiny little bumps that they came across where, we've got the blood, we're not investigating it. We've got this piece, we're not checking it out. Another little bump in the road is when Barry lost his memory on this episode. Barry lost his complete memory. Didn't even know who he was.
And then when he lost his memory, Savitar lost his memory.
Right, but my question is, he didn't know who he was. He didn't know his parents died. He was happy. He was getting on with Iris. They were still forming connection and all that. Why would everyone involved think it would be a good idea to give him his memory back?
Well, I think what they were concerned at the time, they were really concerned about the people in the building, and I think that's what they're thinking about. But I do agree with you, because without Barry's memory, Iris would be safe, and that's what their primary goal is, to save her.
I mean, Iris, her father, Joe, even her brother, Wally, said, yeah, give Barry his memory back. And I'm like, well, if you give Barry his memory back, doesn't that guarantee that Iris dies again? Why would you do that? I would rather a couple hundred people, strangers that I don't know, die in a fire than a woman I love die because of something I did.
Or at least if they gave him his memory back, bring him back to life and take it away again.
Or do it the correct way where they, we figured out what we did wrong last time, let's do it right this time and just take away his short-term memory.
I would think they would just, myself, somehow trap Savitar, although they know every move that he's making, but if they got him into some kind of place or tricked him, or even if they think he's there, then they could just take Barry's memory away, then they could get him that.
They have to take his memory away before they start the plan, because if they start the plan,
he'll remember it.
Savitar's going to be remembered. But here's the thing. Savitar said, because Barry said, well, screw you, I'll just kill myself now and you won't exist. And Savitar said, it doesn't work that way, because I travel through time so much that those laws don't affect me. But when Barry lost his memory, so did Savitar. So they are connected in that way. So if Barry loses his memory and Savitar loses his memory, then if Barry loses his life, logic follows that Savitar would lose his life.
So they got to figure out how to take Barry's memory again and being able to restore it, but at the same time destroy Savitar before they give Barry back his memory.
Confusing, isn't it? These are why I don't understand why they didn't. I just don't understand why they would. Everyone involved would go, okay, we have a choice. We can give Barry his memory. We can keep Barry the way he is, happy, and that would keep Iris safe and all the people we love safe. Or we can give him his memory back and kill Iris in the next week.
But I think what Joe was saying was that if they take Barry's memory away, it's not really Barry. It is, but it's really not. And that's what he was explaining to Iris.
The other thing that they left open is why, if Savitar lost his memory, did Wally lose his speed?
That I can't figure out. Why did Wally lose his speed?
And if Wally lost his speed because Savitar couldn't remember giving him speed, well then why didn't everyone in the lab forget who Savitar was? Because they only knew that because of...
Although if Barry lost his memory, didn't he kind of teach Flash Kid how to use his speed?
But Kid Flash didn't have any speed. He had none. It's not like he had it and didn't know how to use it.
He just had none. Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. So, okay, the next point that we have is Barry went to 2024 to talk to his emo self. Remember that episode? Where he went into the future to try and figure out how to trap Savitar.
Right, yep.
How to get him, and his emo self and all the people that were in 2024 said, you know, we don't know who Savitar is, but we can give you this little disc and tell you who helped trap him. But if logic follows, Barry found out who Savitar was last week, correct?
He did.
And this week, he told everybody in the lab who Savitar was. So when he went into the future, why didn't Cisco say, dude, Savitar's you? Why didn't Cisco tell him? Why was it such a secret? Why didn't he say, Barry, I know who Savitar is. He's a time remnant.
Yeah, because he went back in the future and he told him that.
Because it's in 2017, Barry told everyone.
And
in
2024, they don't know.
They should all still know.
That's right.
Everyone all of a sudden got their memory wiped. It doesn't follow logic. And the last thing that doesn't follow logic is Wally knows that Barry is Savitar, or a time remnant of Barry is Savitar. He knows that Savitar kills his sister. He knows that Savitar that kills his sister is a time remnant of Barry and not Barry. He goes to fight Savitar, ends up having his spine shattered, but yet he's in a catatonic state and can't talk because of something he saw when he was fighting Savitar. What could be so shocking? He already knows who Savitar is and what he did. What could be so shocking that would put him in that kind of a state? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, Savitar. He knows Savitar is Barry. So what more could he be shocked by that would put him in a catatonic state? Maybe. You remember when Savitar said, "I have big plans for you" to Jesse Quick? Maybe
he did something.
Maybe he killed Jesse right in front of Kid Quick Kid Flash, and he couldn't stop him, and that put him in that catatonic.
The same thing that happened to Barry happened the same thing to Kid Flash. Maybe or something similar.
I mean, he hasn't really gone into what his plans are for Jesse, which
he didn't really get into any details. He kind of just suggested something.
Yeah, he just said, "I have big plans for you." But the only thing, in my opinion, now that I think about it, the only thing that could affect Kid Flash or Wally in that way is either A, something happening to Jesse right in front of him, or B, somehow Savitar brings back his mother only to kill her again right in front of him. Because he lost his mother to cancer and he couldn't go see her. Now he has a chance to reunite with her, and then he kills her right in front of her. That would probably put him in a state like that.
Well, we know Savitar is quite an evil
being. He is.
So we know that he'll do anything to cause these people any agony.
This is true. I mean, these are just some unexplained or open-ended plot devices that they've been using in the Flash right now. Maybe within the next 2 episodes, because there's only 2 episodes left, maybe within the next 2 episodes everything will be tied down nice and neat, but I seriously doubt that they're going to close all these in just 2 episodes.
Maybe the next 2 episodes we'll have some answers anyways that's not answered now.
Right. Okay, here's the last point. Julian made a necklace to help Caitlin not become Killer Frost permanently. And he knows it works. And she crushed it because she knows it works and didn't want to be stopped. So why can't he just build another one? Make another one?
I don't know.
You know, they had her down long enough to take her blood, which means they had her down long enough to put a necklace on her.
Which, when she was in the lab and she went down, remember she was having like a seizure-like activity. She went in cardiac arrest.
Okay.
Now, he took that necklace off. He must have thought that was going to save her, but he must have known that he was going to turn her into
He did.
Killer Frost.
He had to make the choice of saving her and having her turn into Killer Frost, or losing her forever.
But that's a good question. Why don't you just make another one? But I have a feeling that they're going to end up getting to her without a necklace device.
Well, I think that there has to be some sort of a device so that she'll be able to turn it on and off. Maybe some sort of an adjustable band or something where she could turn it on just a little bit to become Killer Frost when they need, when you know.
But I kind of noticed in the lab, when she was in the lab as Killer Frost, when Cisco was talking to her, he was kind of getting to her a little bit.
Right.
It's stuff that she didn't want to hear, but you could see in her face
that's why her eyes turned brown.
that he was getting to Caitlin.
They turned brown from that icy blue because her inner self was struggling to come out. And hopefully we'll see that within the next, by the end of the season, at least a step towards her becoming part of the group again. I hear a lot of rumors that people are saying, "Oh, this Tracy Brand is the new Caitlyn for the group."
I think eventually Caitlin's going to come around.
I don't want to see her replaced by some Newberry that you don't really know anything about.
I think eventually that Killer Frost will be Caitlin Frost, and I think she'll be back to herself. But she just has to learn how to use her powers accordingly, so she doesn't turn into Killer.
Right, and I'm thinking that some sort of device made by Cisco and Julian, where she can adjust the amount of quote Killer Frost that comes out, so that she can, like, if they need her to freeze something, she could just turn it a little bit, freeze it, turn it back, and she's good. That type of thing. If they rigged up something like that, that would be awesome for them. Then they'd have the whole team back. My only problem is, why haven't they done it yet? Forget about the blood. Worry about, you had a device that worked. She crushed the device that worked. Make it again. If it doesn't work, then we know it doesn't work. But at least you did what you knew worked at the time.
Seems like every time they're getting close to Killer Frost now, then you got Savitar intervening with that. Because as soon as they took her blood, he came and took her away. So that's a little problem right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing that's got me a little confused is the sniper keeps changing. When Iris is getting run through by Savitar with his little knife blade thing, first there was nobody, then there was HR on the roof with a gun, and now it's Joe on the roof with a sniper rifle. Why does the person who's taking the shot keep changing?
I don't know if they're changing it because they're trying to so Savitar won't remember who's up there, which he does remember because he kind of remembers the plan.
No matter what they do, he's going to remember who's up there.
He kind of remembers because he remembers the
right. No matter what they do, he's going to remember who's up there. So why does that person keep changing in all the vibes and whatnot to that time?
Because Savitar's coming back from 1224 back to 2017.
2024 to 2017, back to the beginning of time.
He's remembering every little thing they make. So they gotta think about.
Right, but the question is, why every time you vibe to 2024 or 2021 when Iris dies, or whenever it is, 2017, why whenever you vibe to when Iris dies, is the sniper on the roof someone different?
I don't know.
Why? What would happen to make that change? First there's nobody, then there's HR, then HR is gone, and now there's Joe. What changed to put HR up there? What changed to take HR out of there? And what changed to put Joe up there? Why are all these, what's happening to facilitate all these changes?
It's just like playing musical sniper or something.
Yeah, it doesn't, there's just, logic just doesn't really make sense. Or as they say, it's illogical logic. And with that said, I'd like to say, well, thank you all for stopping in. I'd like you to leave your opinions, thoughts, and comments in the sections below. And as always, have a good night.
Thanks for watching.